Taehyung, or better known as VBTS, is one of the most adorable members of BTS and has an extraordinary charm. With such a strong charm, stunning talent, and sincerity that radiates from his every action, it is no wonder that ARMY, the name for BTS fans, really understand and love him. However, there is one thing that has recently rocked the K-pop world and made many people wonder. An unwanted betrayal befell Taehyung, and Hybe, the agency where BTS is under, chose to remain silent. This story began with the circulation of rumors that were increasingly widespread on various social media platforms and online K-pop communities. What initially seemed like ordinary gossip turned out to be even more suspicious when several pieces of evidence emerged that seemed to indicate that there were internal parties involved in a betrayal against Taehyung. Is this really just a rumor? Or is there truth behind all the speculation that is developing? Some parties have even begun to suspect that there are hidden interests within a large company like Hybe, which should be the protector of its artists. Is it true that there are individuals who are trying to bring Taehyung down for personal gain? Or maybe there was an unseen power play going on behind the scenes. Fans were naturally shocked. How could a group that was so solid and formed from such a strong bond suddenly be hit by an issue like this? What made all of this even more complicated was Taehyung's obvious change in attitude. Fans who had always been studying his every move began to feel that there was something different about him. Taehyung, who was usually cheerful and full of energy, now seemed quieter and more careful in speaking. Was there really something he was hiding? Or was he just trying to keep his cool even though many were starting to suspect him? Investigation after investigation was carried out by ARMY, who could not simply accept this situation. They began to collect evidence, analyze every little detail, and try hard to uncover what really happened. Hashtags related to this issue even started to fill social media, becoming trending, with loud demands for Hybe to provide an explanation. However, what did they get from the agency? Silence. No explanation. No clarification. Why did Hybe suddenly choose to remain silent in the face of an issue as big as this? Is this the right move, or will it only make things worse? Fans are increasingly disappointed, especially seeing how this big agency is not like usual. Usually, if there is a rumor that is not true, the company will immediately issue a statement to stop the speculation. But this time, Hybe just let the issue develop, which makes many people wonder, is there a hidden reason behind their silence? K-pop industry observers are also starting to speculate. It is possible that there is internal tension within this big company that is complicating the problem. Maybe there are differences of opinion between management and the artists. Or worse, maybe there are parties who have personal agendas and are trying to manipulate the situation for their own benefit. It is not uncommon in the Korean entertainment world. An artist has to deal with intrigues within his own agency. Is this what happened to Taehyung? Or is all this just part of a much bigger and darker game? So, what about Taehyung's future? With the great reputation he has built, will this issue affect his career path going forward? Taehyung is more than just a member of BTS. He is a global icon with millions of loyal fans supporting him. However, if this issue continues to drag on without a clear resolution, will it negatively impact his solo activities? Wouldn't it be a shame if a brilliant career had to be halted just because of an internal conflict with no clear origin? Meanwhile, the other BTS members have yet to make an official statement. But of course, many believe that they fully support Taehyung. BTS is known for their incredibly close relationship, so it's unlikely that the other members wouldn't stand by Taehyung's side in dealing with this issue. But why are they also choosing to remain silent? Is there a deeper reason that we all don't know yet? What is clear is that, despite the situation being so full of uncertainty, Taehyung continues his activities as usual. He still greets fans, shares beautiful moments through social media, and remains focused on his work. But can he really maintain his composure, or is there something deeper going on? His calm demeanor actually raises more questions. Is he trying not to make things worse, or is there something bigger he is considering behind the scenes? The K-pop industry is indeed known for its very complex internal dynamics. Many artists have been caught up in power games that they do not fully understand. Similar cases in the past have taught us that transparency and clear communication from the agency are essential to maintaining public trust. Will Hybe do the same? Or will they let speculation continue to grow without providing answers? In the end, even though this situation is getting more confusing, we all know one thing. Taehyung is an extraordinary figure. With his talent and charisma, he will continue to be one of the biggest icons in the entertainment world. However, as more questions and darkness surround this issue, ARMYs still hope for answers. How could someone so loved and with a bright future be trapped in a story so full of uncertainty? Hopefully, the truth will finally be revealed, and we can all see Taehyung shine again without any more obstacles. Of course, continuing from the previous part, we start to enter a darker and more uncertain area. One big question that continues to haunt the minds of fans and observers of the K-pop industry is why Hybe chose to remain silent. In this fast-paced world, where every rumor or issue can develop in a matter of seconds, the silence from the management only adds to the doubts. What is really going on behind the scenes that makes them so reluctant to provide an explanation? Are they caught up in a bigger internal conflict, or is there a communication strategy that we don't know about? This silence, in fact, only makes the tension worse. If we look back at some previous cases, we know that big agencies in the K-pop industry do not hesitate to issue official statements when rumors start to develop. Why is Hybe acting differently this time? Do they feel that clarifying will only make things worse, or is there something more serious they are considering? In a situation like this, transparency should be a top priority, especially when a big name like Taehyung is involved. However, one thing that is quite clear is that the fans, consisting of ARMY, who are so loyal and attentive to Taehyung's every move, cannot simply accept this situation. They are not only looking into every incident, but also starting to gather strength to find out more. They are collecting evidence, analyzing every piece of information available, and trying hard to make sure that nothing is left out. Hashtags related to this issue are being discussed more and more by the day, becoming trending topics on various social media with demands for Hybe to immediately provide an explanation. However, once again, they are only met with disappointing silence. The question is, why are ARMY so moved? Why are they so concerned with the smallest details of what might have happened to Taehyung? Perhaps because they feel that, as fans who have accompanied Taehyung on his journey all this time, they deserve to know what is really going on. And more importantly, they feel that if there is an injustice that befalls one of their members, then they must take an active role in defending and seeking the truth. With a great sense of responsibility towards Taehyung, ARMY certainly will not just stay silent. But on the other hand, we also have to wonder, are we jumping to conclusions too quickly? Maybe, as is often the case in the entertainment world, there are many layers and complexities that are not visible to the public eye. Maybe this issue is not as simple as we think. In many cases, what appears on the surface is often only a small part of a bigger story. What we see as betrayal may only be part of a more complicated dynamic within the agency. However, one thing is clear: fans feel something is wrong, and their curiosity continues to grow.
And when they finally think you're wounded, then it's your chance to be ruthless. Make some progress, I can see that they compare. I think everyone's against me, maybe something in the air. Am I paranoid? I swear a void is forming and they're scared. I walk a straight path, not many can say